Sunetra Chaudhary joins me from Varanasi. Sunetra, Narendra Modi, it appears, has arrived on the ghats of Varanasi. Tell us what is now expected.
Well, he's now conducting that puja, and you can see perhaps a lot of people with their cameras raised high. For the workers, of course, he's nothing short of a rock star. That's the kind of treatment. In fact, the local security officials are having a bit of a nightmare because they wanted all of them to sit down, and none of them are listening to them. So it is a bit of a tricky security situation. At the moment, he's right there at the water conducting that puja he promised that he would do once the elections were over. For the BJP workers here, this entire event is hugely significant because they're hoping, and the chances are, they say, that Narendra Modi is going to hang on to this seat and not Vadodara. He's going to give up Vadodara and hang on to Varanasi. The fact that he's come to the Ganga and he's performing this puja now, they're hoping that he's going to make some kind of an announcement. One of the things that that a lot of people in Varanasi have talked about is the state of the Ganga, of the development of Varanasi as a city, of the kind of environmental issues, and even that hasn't been part of the politics. This has been a major issue. So will Narendra Modi say anything about that? That's something we have to wait and see. If you see where he's performing the Puja Srinivasan, just opposite that, on boats, you have a lot of the international media, some of the party workers who are holding up signs, the party symbols. They also want this to go out to all the workers out there. So they have these jibs, and they have their own crew. BJP has their own crew which is beaming this thing live to everybody else. So really a huge management, and I don't know if you can see it now. We'll try and show you the pictures there on the Ganga of a laser lotus that's floating on the Ganga as well. So huge. It seems this portion of the Ganga, Srinivasan, has been taken over by the BJP a day after their unprecedented historic win. They've come here to pay and celebrate that at the Ganga, Srinivasan.
Right, Sunetra. Now, what is going to happen in terms of the sequence of events? The puja has already started, and after that, Mr. Modi is going to address the gathering?
Well, we expect him to. They didn't, when we spoke to the local leaders over here, they said there's no official speech as such. However, because of the kind of enthusiasm of the workers who Narendra Modi himself has said have delivered this kind of 3.5 lakh margin of victory for him here in Varanasi, he is expected to speak to the workers a bit. So he may say something, which is why on this side of the stage you have a little bit of a platform set up for him from where he's expected to watch the Ganga Aarti possibly. So maybe the speech comes after the Ganga Aarti or before. We'll just see how that works out. But what is then going to happen is the major spectacle of the Ganga Aarti, for which the Shashwamedh Ghat is quite famous for. Out of all the ghats that are there, they all have their Ganga Aarti. But this one is the one which draws the maximum number of tourists. And for that, if you can see where he's performing the puja, in that area, those little platforms there, they've specially put out rose petals. They've put out other kind of, there's a lot more flowers here than there was yesterday. And of course, there's a lot of security as well. If you see near where he's performing the puja, there are some special boats with just police and other security officials. There are quite a few layers of security. The SPG keeping a very low profile, but otherwise you have the paramilitary forces like the BSF and other state officials as well, who are trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong. There is, of course, a bit of... Yeah, Srinivasan.
Right, Sunetra, thanks very much indeed for that, and of course we'll wait to hear if Mr. Modi indeed does speak on the banks of Varanasi, and also whether he indicates, as Sunetra said, which of the two seats he would like to retain and whether that would indeed be Varanasi. Nirmala Sitharaman joins me live from New Delhi on a day when Mr. Modi was also in New Delhi and was present at the party office, where he received a huge welcome before, of course, he set off for Banaras. Ma'am, now do tell us, we were just talking to one of your other senior leaders earlier on, now that these important rituals of Mr. Modi visiting both Varanasi, Vadodara, the victory procession part of it, the celebration part of it is over, what sort of timetable are you setting for the government formation process?
Well, at the moment, the parliamentary party's meeting has been decided for the 20th. It is only after the parliamentary party's meeting gets over, when the leader gets elected, we know who the leader who's likely to be elected, and post that, all other steps leading towards government formation will happen.
Okay, and ma'am, you know, the other thing which has come up was this resignation of Nitish Kumar in Bihar. Now, are you also expecting, or will you also increase the pressure on other state governments, non-BJP governments, which have performed very poorly for resignations and possibly for early elections, like in UP, for instance, where you won by, where you had a landslide?
Srinivasan, if you don't accuse me of getting too much into the semantics, will I or will BJP increase the pressure, did you say?
Yes.
I think it is a natural fallout of something which is happening internally in the JDU. Where is the BJP in this? Yes, we've got a wonderful victory under the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi. The BJP and its organization, the workers worked very hard. The people were able to connect with the leader, and we had the mandate being given to us.
No,
but what I think is happening in the JDU,
yes,
is aside from what has happened in the electoral arena, Nitish Kumarji can very well present it as, in his typical style, oh, I take the moral responsibility. We respect what he said. But the fact remains that within the JDU, there is almost a mutiny. And in order to preempt the mutiny, you have him take this course as though taking the moral high ground. But what is boiling in the JDU will have to be looked in, let us say, by media, independent media like yours.
Right, but you're saying, ma'am, that this is a mutiny and that there's nothing that the BJP has to do with this mutiny, as the JDU is implying?
There is certainly a moral point of view in that victory has been with the BJP, who he rejected, who he accused as being communal. It is in fact people who have come out to say and teach a lesson to those parties which have all the while been playing appeasement and vote bank politics, to say that they are rejecting their politics and also rejecting them, constantly accusing the BJP of being a communal party. So
right.
That is one moral pressure. But that pressure comes from the people,
okay,
not from the BJP so much.
Let me put that to Abhishek Singhvi, who joins us also. Mr. Singhvi, thanks so much for joining us. Now, this is the point here, that since yesterday we've seen all the parties that have been defeated in this election, like the Congress, repeatedly ascribing their defeat to the fact that this was a polarized election, that the BJP outspent the other parties. Is this simply not being able to accept the mandate for what it is?
I certainly don't accept what you are saying as far as the Congress is concerned. I have said yesterday itself, and I have no hesitation repeating it now, that the depth and the width and the maturity of Indian democracy requires that we accept that there has been a comprehensive victory, and I would openly congratulate the BJP and Mr. Modi, who appears to have transcended his own party for this victory. But that doesn't mean that I do not disagree on 100 things with Mr. Modi. I continue to do so. But in this hour of victory, I don't think I can grudge him his victory.
So you
And as far as I am concerned, I am clearly more concerned about the introspection for reform which we must do, the 5-7 points. In fact, today I have written an article about the 4-5 points of reform.
No,
Maybe
but the
some more I will write. And
but-
I can tell you
No,
that
but
in 2 or
Abhishek-
3 years, the mahal changes very quickly and we will make those changes.
No, but Mr. Singhvi, you know, these points for reform, again, these all tend to be academic exercises. Look at someone like Nitish Kumar.
No.
He lost by a landslide in Bihar. He took responsibility. He resigned. We've not seen any such attempts by anybody in the Congress, barring, as we've been saying, a token attempt by Tarun Gogoi. We don't even know if that was for real or not.
Look, when you are in difficulty and you've done badly, I think it's completely wrong to do tokenism or drama by creating further confusion by resigning. And certainly the unquestioned leaders of our party are not prone to put the party into more chaos and confusion by thinking of such steps. It is the solid work of reform, change. Let me tell you, the Congress has seen bad days and it has taken very little time to recover. If
But
we
can
have
you
ruled for
recover?
10 long years,
Yes.
surely we can sit in the opposition for an opposition term. There is a atmospherics, there is a mahal, and
But
it doesn't
surely-
take long to change.
But surely Nirmala Sitharaman, given the scale of the Congress's defeat, and also to look at states like Uttar Pradesh where those pictures are coming from, when we see those pictures of Varanasi on the screen, we see that familiar tide of people surrounding Narendra Modi. This is a very, very significant defeat for the Congress, isn't it? Do you think, Ms. Sitharaman, they'll be able to recover from this, particularly given even now the reluctance to raise any questions about the leadership of the party?
Well, you're right in saying it's a very decisive victory for the BJP, and the other side, it's a very significant loss, considering this is the lowest ever the Congress has ever reached in its whatever 120 odd years of existence. So it is definitely a milestone in the history of the Congress, and at a time especially when the leadership issue had taken the course it had taken during the election campaign.
Yes.
But I would not today spend my time on whether the Congress can recover or not. I'm glad somebody like Shri Narendra Modi, who's born in a completely non-Congress environment,
Yes.
has achieved this task purely by his very hard-working commitment, and also because he had performed as a successful chief minister. And I'm glad he's the prime ministerial candidate of the BJP. Today it is the time for him to savor this fruit of his hard work, and therefore I would rather look at from now how he is going to take on his responsibility.
Fair
The
enough.
expectations are very high.
Yes.
I think Mr. Modi has it all in him to work and deliver to meet the expectations. So I would rather spend my time on that.
Let me put that then. That's a fair point. Let me.
One thing, Vasu,
Yeah.
one thing, Srinivasan, just one sentence.
Yes.
I think it's a lot more sensationalism and far less substance when after a bad defeat, people for sensationalist purposes start talking as if leadership changes solve the problem. They don't. What solves the problem is solid, hard, pointed, focused reform on 5, 10, 15 points. And that's how you
Sometimes-
rebuild the weaknesses.
Sometimes
Other
it
the
can be
rest is
both.
all just sensationalism. Oh, you want to make a drama about this leader resigning, this leader resigning. That's not the point. The point is collectively we have to sit down. The Congress has it in itself. We've seen almost as bad defeats, let me tell you. Numbers are of course lowest this time. And we have bounced back. And I am confident that provided, and that's of course a very important thing I'm
Yes,
saying,
yes.
we make those changes.
Okay,
I have
let's-
listed 7, there'll be others listing 7 more.
Okay, look, it doesn't have to be either or, Dr. Singhvi, it can even be both, but let me move on from that and let me bring in D. Raja to take on the point that Nirmala Sitharaman made about the fact that the new Modi government has come with high expectations and the theme seems to be Achhe din aane wale hain. The good days are now going to come. We've seen them say that on a number of occasions just in the past 24 hours. Are you convinced by that slogan, D. Raja?
Firstly, the left and BJP are ideological, politically opposite poles. Despite that, I take this opportunity to congratulate people for this kind of verdict, and I congratulate BJP for winning such a mandate. But the thing is, as far as I am concerned, as of now, I am very skeptical about good days coming. I will continue to be skeptical because the first record is like that.
What are you
not
specifically-
only of Mr. Modi,
What are you
of,
specifically
the BJP
skeptical
as
about?
a political part.
What are you skeptical about specifically?
No, one is Mr. Modi is projected as a very successful chief minister of Gujarat. He might have been successful chief minister, but what about the Gujarat model? When you compare Gujarat with Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu is far ahead of Gujarat. This is known to everybody. Take any human development index factor or any social sector index, Tamil Nadu is far ahead, whether it is AIADMK government or DMK